Now, we've been talking already about rewards. I've said to you that in effect, with Maslow, with Vroom, you have to reward people. You have to give people something in order to motivate them. This next page talks about what we give them. So, difference between a reward and an incentive. A reward is what you actually give somebody. So a reward is given at the end. An incentive is the offer of a reward. So in other words, if you do this, I will give you some money, is an incentive. When you have done it and you get the money, that's the reward. So the incentive is a promise. The reward is when you actually receive it. So again, what Vroom said was that we have to offer people the right kind of incentives, the right kind of rewards, because if we don't, then they won't bother working hard. Okay, underneath that, we have got what's called extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic rewards are things you can see there are outside the control of individuals. In other words, they are given to people. You've got the examples there: pay, bonuses. You work hard and somebody gives you a bonus. You work hard and somebody gives you some praise. You work hard and somebody gives you a benefit. They are all given to you by somebody else. Intrinsic rewards are internal. They are what you feel about something. I know that I have done a good job with something. It makes me feel better because I know I've done it well. That's an intrinsic reward. So, for example, if I have got a group of students and they all pass an exam, I get an intrinsic reward, which is I feel I have done a good job. I hopefully get an extrinsic reward as well, which is hopefully I get a bonus. But the intrinsic reward is actually the important one. Now, scientific management only bothered with extrinsic rewards. If you do this, I give you some money, I give you some pay. Maslow is much more concerned with intrinsic rewards. And there are a lot of these. These are very, very important to people. And these can be more motivating, to be honest, than anything else, because they're what we feel about something. Now, the kind of things that you could look at are things like job status, job satisfaction. Do you feel that you are doing a good job? Now, this is important from the point of view of managers, because managers have to make sure that they are offering people the chance to improve. Remember, that was our self-actualisation at the top of Maslow? Because if people are improving, again, intrinsic reward, they feel better about themselves. They feel they're getting somewhere. So, in the exam, a common thing to talk about is job enrichment, job enlargement, and job rotation. Now, two of these are good, one of them is bad. Job enrichment is very much aimed at Theory Y people, and it's all about making things more interesting. You have carried out your tasks very, very well, so what we're going to do is we're going to give you some harder, more interesting work, some more responsibility. Maybe we'll let you supervise somebody else. So job enrichment is giving you more interesting stuff. That one's good. Works very well with Theory Y people. Theory X people won't like it, because Theory X people will simply say, but I don't want any responsibility. Job rotation is working with Theory X people, and it basically means move people around low-level jobs. And that works with Theory X people. The idea behind that is that if there are a number of fairly low-level jobs, imagine, for example, you're talking about a shop. One of the jobs is perhaps looking after all the stock as it arrives and putting it somewhere in the warehouse. That's a low-level job. One of the tasks is putting the goods on the shelf. That's a low-level task. One of the jobs might be working on the till, on the checkout, dealing with customers. That's a low-level task. If you have 3 workers and they just do the same thing all the time, one person works in the warehouse, one person stocks the shelves, and one person deals with the customers, they'll get bored. So move them around. So one day a week, they all do something different. It's just enough variety to keep Theory X people interested. So that can work very well as well. So that's a good one. The one that's not very good is the one in the middle. Job enlargement is simply more of the same. In the exam, look to see if the examiner is deliberately confusing job enlargement and job enrichment. You have done so well at this task, we're just going to give you more of it to do. That's not going to motivate anybody. So job enrichment, good. Job rotation, good. Job enlargement, bad. How are we going to actually introduce all this? So it's all very well me saying a manager should reward somebody, but managers, there is a limit to what they will be able to do. So a company has to try and decide how it's going to reward all of its staff. You can't have managers going around promoting people simply because they feel like it, or giving them bonuses because they feel like it. The entire company has got to have a plan of what are going to be used as rewards and what people are going to have to do to earn them. So you've got here an example of a reward system. This is what the company should think about. It should motivate employees. And as we saw earlier, if employees are motivated, there won't be as much staff turnover. Another important point, which goes back to what we were talking about with recruitment back at the beginning of the course, you will attract good employees. If you've got good employees or good potential employees, they will say, what rewards are there? I know I am good. If I'm going to come and work for you, how am I going to benefit? And if you can't give me enough benefits, I will go somewhere else. We've talked already about goal congruence, rewarding people so that they all try and work together. Be fair so that people can't complain. I have to work really hard to get my bonus and somebody else doesn't have to do very much. And they should encourage innovation. And we've seen all these things already. The kind of things that you would include. Commission. This is often used for salespeople. If you sell something, you get a financial reward, 1% of the value of what you sell. The idea is that you make people work harder because the harder they work, the more they sell, the more money they earn. Again, a bonus scheme is fairly similar. If you work hard, you will receive some kind of bonus. At the top of the other page, we've got examples such as profit sharing. So rather than you giving a bonus because you've done a good job, profit sharing is giving everybody a bonus because the entire company has done well. Now, that works very well in situations such as accounting, where it's actually very difficult to identify what somebody's done in order to earn a bonus. In some divisions, it's very easy. You're in marketing. You've done an advertising campaign. Lots of potential customers have come in. You should get a bonus. It's easy to identify. But there's lots of workers in a company where it's very difficult to identify how they are actually adding to the company. So an easier way might be to simply say, let's look at the entire company. If the entire company does well, everybody shares. Profit sharing scheme. And finally, what's known as management by objectives. And management by objective is basically giving people very detailed targets. If you meet your target, whatever it is, then I will give you a reward. Again, it can be used for people where it's quite difficult sometimes to try and say how do they deal with customers. So with a salesperson, commission's very easy. If you sell them something, you get some reward. It's nice and easy. But with somebody like me, that would be very difficult to do. I don't actually sell anything. So how would you reward me? You could do profit sharing, but perhaps the easiest way is to have, here is my objective. My objective is to do a good set of videos by a certain date. My objective is to have the users of my videos having a certain pass rate. There's my objectives. If I achieve those, I get a reward. Nice and straightforward. So motivation is incredibly important. It's important to all of us all the time. We only do things which we are motivated to do. We only do things properly if we're motivated to do them. So in work, if you are a manager, you need to motivate your staff. If you are thinking about an entire company, You need to give the managers the chance to motivate your staff. You need to let them give people promotions. You need to let them give people bonuses. If you don't have that in a company, the manager can't do anything. The manager can't do anything, then the workers will be unmotivated. They might even be demotivated. So the next time that you are thinking about, do you want to do some studying or not, think about Maslow. How's it going to help? Which need are you meeting? Think about Hertzberg, hygiene or motivating factors. Think particularly about Vroom. Why are you doing that studying? When your boss asks you to do something at work, again do the same thing. Think Maslow, think Hertzberg, think Vroom. Are you motivated or not? If you are, why are you motivated? If you're not motivated, why aren't you motivated? And think what you would do to motivate somebody. So it's a very, very practical area of the syllabus. So yes, there are some models, but it's a kind of area which is going to tend to be examined through a scenario. Here is a person. This is what you're offering them. Are they going to be motivated or not? So it's a good area to pick some marks up on in the exam.